My brother's fiancée became obsessed with me, got jealous over our bond, and insulted the elderly woman I loved and cared for until her D*ADH. My younger brother, who's 25, is getting married to a woman named Lena. She's 24 and doesn't have any family of her own, so naturally, my family went out of their way to make her feel included and welcomed. At first, I liked her well enough the few times we met, but over time, her behavior started to feel off. I live about 5 hours away from my family because I work full-time as a personal nurse for a woman named Rita, who's 98. I've also been going back to school to earn another degree, so between work and studying, I barely have time for myself. The first time I met Lena was almost 2 years ago. She walked right up to me and told me that every time the family got together, people always mentioned me or asked about me, and she had been eager to meet me. We chatted a little, nothing deep, and then I went off to talk with my aunts. But throughout the night, no matter who I was talking to, even in private conversations, Lena kept inserting herself. I figured she was just trying to feel included and bond with everyone, so I didn't push her away. I kept trying to make space for her in conversations, even though, honestly, it made me a bit uncomfortable. It became a pattern after that. Every time we had a family gathering, she'd find her way into my conversations. And I kept being polite about it, always trying to be kind and welcoming. But the real issues began when they announced their engagement. They had planned to announce it at a party, but before they could, I had to leave urgently. Rita had fallen in the bathtub. My brother understood right away, pulled me aside into a private room, and told me the news personally before I had to rush out. I was genuinely happy for him. I hugged him and congratulated him. But Lena completely ruined the moment by butting in and complaining that I, being the eldest in the family, should be present for the announcement. I ignored her, and my brother calmly explained why I had to leave. I'd been caring for Rita since before I even graduated. She trusted me with her health and even paid for me to go back to school. She became like a third grandmother to me. Sadly, when she fell, she broke her hip, and her health went downhill fast. Right now, it's just me and her pregnant great-granddaughter taking care of her. My mom helps out at the hospital sometimes too because Rita can't stand being touched by the hospital staff. She has trauma from childhood and doesn't like strangers getting close. A few months back, the women in the family went dress shopping for Lena's wedding. I didn't go because Rita was ill and needed me. But apparently, Lena complained the whole time about my absence, even though she knew exactly why I couldn't be there. On my mom's birthday, I organized a little brunch for just the two of us, like we do every year, just mother and daughter. But Lena insisted on joining, even though my mom clearly felt awkward about it. Still, we included her because that's just how we are. I could tell you so many stories like that, where Lena would force her way into moments that were never meant for her, always trying too hard to get close to me, even though I was always nothing but kind. She even got into a fight with one of my cousins over it. But yesterday, I hit my breaking point. Rita passed away 3 days ago. I'm heartbroken. My family is too. Everyone loved Rita. She was a truly amazing woman. She wanted her ashes buried at the cottage where she grew up, and her great-granddaughter surprised me by arranging a trip next week for the two of us to do just that. When I told my family, my mom said she wanted to come with us. But Lena immediately got upset, complaining that we were going on a trip just 2 days before her wedding. The truth is, I had completely forgotten about the timing, and even if I had remembered, I just don't have the emotional energy right now. My mom explained that we'd only be gone long enough to bury the ashes and we'd be back the night before the wedding. Everything for the ceremony is already taken care of. Still, Lena wouldn't stop complaining. And then she said something that finally pushed me over the edge. She accused me of caring more about an old woman who wasn't even my family than about her, who would soon be my real family, the mother of my future nieces and nephews. That the dead woman wasn't even my blood. That was it. I snapped. I told her Rita was more of a family to me than she'd ever be. That she wasn't even a friend to me, and the only reason I even tolerated her was because of my brother. Maybe I was a little harsh, but I was grieving and furious. I walked out while she kept trying to argue. She started crying, saying all she ever wanted was for me to see her as family. But how can I, when she's been so pushy, so dismissive of my grief, and completely lacking empathy? She never even offered condolences when Rita passed. She spent the entire day rambling about the wedding while I was making phone calls to arrange the funeral. Now I'm seriously thinking I might not even go to the wedding. I love my brother, he even picked out the bridesmaid dress for me, but I feel so emotionally drained. The thought of being near Lena makes my stomach turn, and I honestly don't trust myself to stay quiet if she says something else out of line. Update. First off, I really appreciate those of you who offered thoughtful advice. Some of the comments were a bit bizarre, especially from people who clearly didn't read the full story. But to those who actually understood, thank you. Let me be clear, I always tried to be kind to Lena. I know she didn't grow up with a real family, and I've done everything I could to make her feel accepted. But does that mean I have to tolerate being treated with zero empathy? Some people suggested I treat her like a toddler, but honestly, I find that insulting. She's a grown adult. She should be treated and act accordingly. I talked everything over with my parents and my brother, and during that conversation, more strange things came to light. My mom told me that Lena often says weird, manipulative things like claiming she's more of a daughter to my mom than I am, just because I don't visit as often and she does. That made my mom really uncomfortable. She also told Lena multiple times that she doesn't like being touched. Even we, her own family, don't hug her because it makes her anxious. But Lena ignores that and keeps hugging her anyway. The worst part? My mom told me that Lena has said I cried more over Rita's death than I did when my actual grandfather passed. That's just beyond cruel. A while back, my dad told me something strange that happened about a year ago. Lena apparently walked up to him and said, "Your second daughter," meaning herself, "knows you better than your first daughter." She was joking, I guess, while comparing the Father's Day gifts she and I had given him. He laughed it off, but deep down he thought it was a weird and out-of-place comment. Now I finally get why he's always seemed a little uneasy around her. He was the only one in the family who didn't quite warm up to Lena. My younger brother also admitted that he's heard Lena complain about me not attending family gatherings. She even brought it up directly to me more than once. Honestly, it seems like we've all been brushing off these red flags because we were trying so hard to be patient with her. We knew about her rough background, and we all just wanted to make her feel accepted and, more importantly, make my brother happy. We live near a lower-income neighborhood and have known plenty of people with similar tough upbringings like Lena's. So, we tried to be understanding. But when it comes to how she treats me specifically, I just don't get it. Her behavior toward me makes no sense. By this point, I was crying not just over Lena, but from everything piling on after Rita's death. I felt so drained and defeated, and I felt bad for my brother too. He ended up hugging me and apologizing, and I could see he was getting emotional. He even teared up, saying it's been hard for him to manage Lena's behavior. He confessed something that shocked me. Lena had made cruel remarks about Rita, who she never even met. Everyone in our family was mourning Rita because she was truly a wonderful person. It's twisted to speak badly about someone who's passed away, especially someone as kind and gentle as Rita. Every time my brother tried to tell Lena how much Rita meant to us, she'd get cold and distant and shut down communication with him for the rest of the day. Still, he kept trying with her, clinging to the idea that she just really wants to be part of a family. I told him we do want to be her family, but there have to be boundaries. The things she says are hurtful. My dad backed me up and told my brother that Lena's behavior is just pushing everyone away, and he didn't want anyone badmouthing his daughter. My brother looked so worn out. Honestly, he's been looking that way for months now, and while I tried to chalk it up to wedding stress, I'm starting to think it runs deeper than that. I didn't tell him that I've been thinking about cutting Lena out of my life entirely, at least not yet. I didn't want him to feel like I was forcing him to pick sides. Instead, I told him we seriously need to start enforcing firmer boundaries with Lena if we're ever going to have a healthy relationship and give her a real shot at healing. We've been way too lenient, and it's clearly not working. I haven't spoken to Lena at all since then. I assume my brother must have had a serious conversation with her after everything. The wedding's still happening, and I've decided to go, but only to support my brother. Deep down, though, I honestly think he's making a huge mistake. To me, Lena no longer seems like someone who's simply struggling, she seems unstable. And frankly, I don't think she's a good person. But I'm staying quiet because I don't want to come off as the jealous big sister trying to ruin his relationship. I just want to keep my peace, take the trip to bury Rita's ashes with her great-granddaughter and my mom, and avoid any more emotional exhaustion until the wedding is over. Right now, I'm not in a place mentally where I can handle another argument or more guilt over how I'm dealing with all of this. I just want to honor Rita's wishes and let myself grieve in peace. Edit. Yes, we have tried setting boundaries with Lena many times, actually. But we never wanted to be harsh or confrontational. We thought being gentle and patient would help, especially knowing she's had a rough life. Unfortunately, she refuses to hear any kind of constructive feedback. When anyone tries to talk to her seriously, she either plays the victim or gets extremely defensive and angry. The blow-up between her and me, and also with one of my cousins, just showed that she doesn't respect limits. Even my brother admitted as much. So for now, I'm stepping back. I've decided to cut off contact with her for at least the next week or two, until I feel emotionally stable enough to revisit the situation. Mini update. My brother is fully aware now of everything Lena has done. As I mentioned earlier, he's exhausted by her too. But if he's choosing to stay in the relationship, there's really not much we can do about it. My dad talked to him just a few hours ago and shared his concerns. He asked my brother if he's sure about going through with the wedding and gently encouraged him to think it over. My brother said he's fine, just tired, and plans to go ahead with the wedding. So that's where we are. The only thing we can do is keep supporting him and hope that one day he realizes what's going on. But we have to be careful. If we attack Lena directly or try to kick her out of the family, it'll only give her ammunition to paint herself as the victim. She's good at twisting things, and we don't want her using that to drive a bigger wedge between us and my brother. Dealing with someone who's deeply damaged by childhood trauma isn't simple. She has no understanding of boundaries, and now that she's been told what they are, she still refuses to respect them. But being aggressive won't help either, it'll only make things worse. Please don't blame my brother. If you've never seen someone trapped in a toxic relationship, it's easy to judge. But I've seen friends go through the same thing. When you're stuck in that kind of dynamic, you lose perspective. You're blinded by love and denial. I feel guilty for not recognizing the signs earlier, but I haven't been around the family that much lately. Update 2. It's been a little while since I last checked in. I've honestly just been so overwhelmed, I didn't even want to log back into this account. Reading the comments stressed me out even more. Still, I appreciate the people who've reached out and asked for updates or offered genuine concern. This whole situation has been a mess, and I'm just trying to survive it with my sanity intact. Sometimes, I just need a space to vent, and this is one of those times. First, I want to make something clear. My brother is a grown man. We can give him advice and share our concerns, but in the end, the choice is his. When I wrote my first post, I didn't know everything I later found out and shared in my second one. That discovery came during a really stressful, emotionally raw period, and naturally, it shifted how I saw the whole situation. It was a lot to process. Anyway, the wedding ended up happening. My dad had one final heart-to-heart with my brother beforehand and told him flat out that he didn't support the marriage. He didn't attend the ceremony. Since that day, my brother's barely spoken to any of us, he only talks to my mom, and even she doesn't want Lena in her house, so that's caused some tension too. We all gave my brother our reasons why marrying Lena wasn't a good idea, but he went through with it anyway. Still, he's my brother. I love him. And I know that someday, if he starts to see things differently, he'll know I'm here for him no matter what. And for those people who keep saying things like, you should have kicked her out from day one, or your family let her walk all over you, honestly, just stop. Every single person in my family has their own life, their own struggles. We were just trying to be kind and maintain peace with someone who clearly had a tough past. We're not doormats. We just weren't expecting someone with such toxic behavior to enter the picture. Our family has always been close and emotionally healthy. So when someone like Lena came along, it didn't even cross our minds that she might have ulterior motives or emotional issues that would cause so much chaos. And the truth is, when you're raised in a supportive environment, it can be hard, it's shocking, even to recognize when someone else isn't coming from that same place. I didn't even see Lena all that often. Most of the weird things I found out about came later, like I shared in the second post. I'm not responsible for my brother's choices, and I'm definitely not responsible for Lena's behavior. Just to ease some people's minds, no, Lena's not dangerous or trying to steal my identity or anything dramatic like that. She's strange, sure, but not dangerous. Although my dad did share something a bit unsettling. Apparently, my brother once told him that Lena finds my relationship with him strange. She's jealous of how close we are. She thinks it's weird that my brother and I would lie in bed together to watch TV or play games, or that he hugs me. But that's just how we've always been. I'm that way with my other brother, too. It's normal in our family. My brother told my dad that Lena gets upset when he spends time alone with me and that it causes fights between them. According to him, Lena wants to be close to me but doesn't know how, which is why she gets awkward or says the wrong things. But to be honest, I don't believe that's her true motivation. I think she just wants to monopolize my brother's attention entirely. My dad confronted him about all of this and reiterated that he wouldn't be attending the wedding. I didn't go either. I chose to take a few more days for myself to grieve Rita in peace. I don't know how the wedding went because my mom avoids the topic and I haven't asked. Right now, I'm living in Rita's house. It's quiet, and it gives me space to process everything. Maybe this isn't the dramatic update some people expected. I'm not going to tell you Lena ended up in jail or turned out to be my long-lost twin. The truth is more painful in its simplicity. Lena's presence has fractured our family, and my brother is now distant from us all. At this point, I've made peace with the fact that I need to step back. My brother chose his path. I've accepted that. My mom has told me to let him go for now, and she's right, we've done all we could. He's an adult, and we can't live his life for him. What confuses me the most is Lena herself. I honestly can't tell if she dislikes me, wants to be close to me, or if she just wants to be me. I do believe my brother is in a toxic relationship, and yeah, that hurts. We all tried to convince him not to go through with the wedding, but he made up his mind. He even confessed that there were things he'd been hiding from us, more things Lena had said and done. And I can see now that he's going to keep covering for her, trying to protect her, no matter what. I even tried talking to Lena myself before the wedding. It turned into a full-blown argument and only ended with my brother getting mad at me for confronting her. I knew it would happen. That's always how it goes when someone tries to set boundaries with her. She either plays the victim or lashes out. The same thing happened with my dad and with my other brother. You can't reason with someone who doesn't want to be told no. So for now, my mom is keeping just enough contact with Lena to stay in touch with my brother. That's all we can do. To those who've said kind words, thank you. I know I need to take care of myself and let things play out. Maybe my brother will see the truth down the line, especially now that he's more or less cut off from everyone else. Someone mentioned that things might get even messier if Lena ends up having the first grandchild. Well, my brother can't have biological kids, and he's not open to adoption either. It's hard in our country, and from what I understand, he's not interested in going through the process. So I don't think kids will be part of their future, but honestly, who knows? Someone else wondered if Lena might have some sort of anxious attachment disorder. I don't know what her full background is, but I do know she's estranged from her family. They struggle with addiction, and she's cut ties with them completely. So maybe she's trying to recreate something she never had. Maybe that's why she wants to be at the center of everything, my brother's world, my parents' world, even mine. It's like she wants to be all of it at once, his partner, their daughter, and somehow my sister too. I don't really understand it, but that's what I've gathered from watching her behavior and from the things my brother has said. That's where we are. No dramatic ending, just a lot of sadness and distance. But I'm doing my best to move forward and protect my peace.